With a ton of marketing platforms, there is so much flexibility that you have in the type of information that you put out. That might mean that you put out pictures of your business. It might put out pictures of your product. You might put out pictures of yourself as the business owner. You might write articles for your business. But today we are talking about using video in your marketing. Of course, the marketing platform that you use would have to incorporate video, but there are so many marketing platforms that you would be able to incorporate video with. That would be Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, television, YouTube, and one of the platforms we talked about today, Wistia. I'd never even heard of that before this episode. So the question we are talking about today is, should you use video in your marketing? Why should you use video versus pictures? Or should you use video versus the written word? Should you write articles? Or what type of medium should you be using on all of these different platforms? I give a little bit of my experience with our family-owned retail feed stores and talk about a little bit of the success that we have had with videos and actually give a little bit of statistics and numbers and analytics behind some of the videos that we have posted. I hope you'll stick around for this episode of the podcast of why you should use video in your marketing. Hello and welcome to the Better Business Podcast, where we help you improve your family-owned retail business. I'm with my co-host today, Chris Fox from Fox Strategy, the marketing genius. And my name is Steve Cook. I'm a third-generation business owner, and with the things I've learned and talk about on this show, I've taken my family's retail business to over $10 million in sales. Now let's get to the show.
So a report from Wistia, which is a video hosting platform, this week really caught my attention. I thought we should share it. It's their State of Video report for 2022, which basically looks at a lot of survey data from their customers about how businesses used video last year, how they plan to use it this year. Here's the thing that really jumped out to me, though. This is the stat. From 2019 to 2021, video plays for their businesses jumped 77%. So in just 3 years, our society, our culture has kind of been shoved into this online video era. And that means potential customers, sometimes we call them people, are looking for more video from businesses that they shop with than they ever have before. So I thought we should talk about why you should use video in your marketing strategy. What do you think, Steve?
Man, I think that video has always been the king of entertainment. Meaning that, you look at even in eras where there was a lot more than just videos. Think about maybe the 70s, I think, or so, where newspaper was very popular, radio was still very popular, and television was kind of coming on the scene. I think that TV, people that were on TV, whether it's movie actors or TV late night hosts and things like that, were always more popular and more recognized and things like that than were a newspaper columnist or a radio host or something like that. Sure. I think that video, since its inception, has always been more popular than other things. But I think that it is so much more accessible now that it's becoming more and more popular. So everyone has a phone in their pocket now, which makes it, you don't have to sit down at a television. So I think video has always been the king. It's just so much more accessible now than it used to be.
That's such a good point. The accessibility of it is just unlike any other time, that we've ever seen. You think about, all of these cell phone makers pushing their cameras on these phones, even Apple's latest iPhone with its, the cinematography mode of people actually making short movies or feature films. I don't know if there's a Hollywood type feature film yet, but these are people making movies on, something they can hold in their hands that is $1,000. I mean, that's very, very accessible. And I think you're right about the idea of video, making people feel more relatable, or seeing like TV stars and movie stars be more popular than radio stars, or more well known than newspaper columnists, bloggers these days, magazine article writers. These kind of people who have a written word in the past are kind of overshadowed by people because we see them constantly, and that human element of seeing people builds trust. We think we know them. And let me just say, as a business owner, when you show up on video, studies show that if people can see your face from a couple different angles, whether that's through photograph or through video, they trust you more. So if you're able to send some videos or have people watch videos before you get on a sales call, before they walk into your store, you are already ahead of the game with trust and relatability with your customers. So yeah, I think you're right. That's one of the reasons it's just taken off, is it's now more accessible than it ever has been before, which is crazy because we've gone through this pandemic. Everybody suddenly was pushed, or a lot of people were suddenly pushed into like work from home or video-based conferencing, Zoom, and video calls became a huge deal. So here's a wild stat from the report that also caught my attention. It is that in 2021, we actually saw a decrease in the number of videos posted to this specific platform, not saying YouTube or social media, but in this specific platform,
Which platform is this? Wistia?
Yeah, Wistia. I'm not super familiar with
know.
it, but it's kind of like a YouTube for business is how I would describe it. So they give you more tools to customize your video players, embed videos in your website, stuff like that. So it's a very B2B platform, I think, whereas YouTube is very much like a creator-centered platform for mass audiences. Wistia is very B2B. So all these people answering this survey were business owners using video in their marketing strategy. And they posted fewer videos in 2021 than they did in 2020. But video plays on the platform grew still almost 2 billion in 2021. So even though there were fewer videos on the platform, people hit the play button more by 2 billion times than they did the year before. To me, this is saying that people weren't watching more videos just because more businesses were producing videos or businesses were producing more videos. Instead, they were watching more because that's what they wanted to do. That's purely what they expected or wanted from these businesses. And I think that's a really powerful indicator of where we're headed, is people are hitting the play button, not just because there's more out there, because that's truly what they want.
I think that Ramon Ray, who I had on my podcast, I can't remember which episode it was, but he wrote a book called The Celebrity CEO and gave a bunch of statistics around how if the leader of every business or someone in the business will create a way to make themselves basically a mascot, that it is very beneficial to the business. And I think he hit the nail on the head with that thought that people want to draw to a business through someone's face, whether you are the CEO, whether you're the owner. Obviously, we're talking to small business, family, small business owners, and I think that people love to see the family that is involved with the retail business. I think people love to see that, and like you said, it makes them trust them more. And I think that you're right in saying that so many people are consuming videos, and I wouldn't say maybe less businesses are creating for it. They could have been in 2021 or 2020 because a lot of people drew back on their marketing budget and were, worried and didn't go into their businesses and things like that. I know there was a big drawback in people's marketing budgets. But I think that if anything, there's a supply and demand issue. The supply or the demand, it ever increases more and more, and maybe the businesses are not keeping up with the amount of videos. We have recently talked about TikTok, and that's the same way on that platform. I think there's so many people that are getting on TikTok and consuming, but there's not as many people creating for it at the same pace as there are people consuming for it. So Yeah, I think that that's an opportunity for a business as well. Anytime that you have an increased demand for something, boy, you should probably step in there and fulfill it.
And a lot of our family-owned business listeners would feel that when we talk about supply and demand, right? If you see a demand for a product or a new product category or a different product in your family-owned business, you're going to step up and create that product because you know there's money to be made there. It's the same thing here in the marketing world. There is a big demand for businesses to put out video so that consumers can consume it. And so why not step up to the plate, make that video content, invest in it, whether that's, you hiring somebody who makes it for you, like you've talked about before, Steve, or you take the time as a business owner and do it yourself. You're answering that demand with some supply and you're going to be rewarded. Yeah, you might not be rewarded in this video is literally going to make me money right now, but this video is going to make me attention. I earn attention. I earn awareness.
Yes.
And that's going to make me money. So that's an important way to look at this. Thanks for bringing that up. Supply and demand. Demand is great for video.
Yeah, I think that that a lot of the hardest part is that video is that's the mecca. You have to be able to speak. You have to be able to look at a camera. You have to be quick and sharp. You can't read anything typically. I mean, I guess you could, do a teleprompter or whatever, but, it has to almost, I think that you can practice and get better and better at it.
Sure.
I look back at some of my first original, I have the YouTube deal with called Steve's Horse Show, and I've looked back on some of my videos from 5 years ago or 6 years ago, however long it was, and it's like cringy, but I had to start. And so, I do think that you can get better at video with some level of practice, but I do think that there's an element that it comes naturally more to some people than others. And so I think that's why that's tough for business owners. Video is tough, but I think even if it's kind of cringy, and even if those are almost the videos that I watch more.
Yeah.
Because it's like, dude, this guy is clearly like really wanting to say something, and so sometimes I'll watch the cringy videos more than I will like the well-polished, hey, how's it going, everyone? Or whatever. Like,
yeah.
I really enjoy like the cringy ones sometimes because I'm like, man, they're really trying. And especially if they're not getting on there just saying like, buy my crap. They're like, hey, I want to educate. We've had some people here that have asked for, if they're trying to educate people or, do good in the community or do something, I applaud that. Even if it is embarrassing, or
Sure.
they're not great at it or whatever. So.
And I think where you're headed in that direction is people just appreciate interacting and connecting with other human beings. And so they want it to be genuine, and honest and real.
Yeah.
So if you're not great at it and you're clearly nervous, that's not an excuse that you should employ to not do the video. That's actually one of your greatest tools and assets in making a video, because everyone you're talking to is going to instantly understand that this isn't fake. You didn't hire somebody to do this. Mm-hmm. It's real. And as you get better at it, people again trust you. They have more understanding of who you are, where you've come from. So as a business, it's all around good to get out there and put your business out there on video. Now, if you're a family-owned business, and let's say that your third generation son who's an owner partner with you is better at it, then employ that. Use that person. Maybe granddad doesn't get on video all the time, or doesn't host the videos. Maybe he's just included from time to time. But there's definitely something to be said for making it and keeping it really genuine, really accessible and relatable.
I'm a big fan of calling out the thing too. If you are nervous, or if you are like, I don't want to do this, but my grandson's making me, or whatever it might be. I'm a huge fan of that, because I think that's hilarious when people say that, at the beginning of videos, like, hey, I hate doing these live videos, but everyone keeps asking me, or whatever it is. I'm a huge fan of that, because I think it, again, goes to the honest, genuine portion of it. So if you do hate it, or if you, maybe somebody's been, hitting you across the head with you've got to do Facebook videos or you got to make a TikTok or whatever. I'm a huge fan of just saying like, hey, I hate this, but somebody's making me do it or whatever.
Yeah, show up and be real. That'll win more every day. So the report had maybe one last interesting thing that I wanted to talk about, and this was kind of wild to me. So we know collectively, like, our attention span as a society is shrinking, and so a lot of the advice that marketers or businesses will give or assume is that shorter videos are really where you need to invest. But this is wild. So engagement rates over the last 3 years on this video platform have remained nearly identical across all lengths of video, which is really to say that it's stable. So the same people who were, watching and paying attention to long videos 3 years ago are still doing that in 2021. The same people who were paying attention and watching short videos for that amount of time, it's the same in 2021 as it was in 2019. So based on that data, my advice would be we really need to categorize our video ideas based on how truly, how much truly useful information that we're going to give, or how much great story that we can tell our audience. So that would be, if it's a tip, make sure that it's a super short video. Don't bury it in something fluffy. Don't try to make, a 3-minute video or, God forbid, a 10-minute video out of one tip. Just get to it, talk about it. It's okay that it's short. If it's a heartwarming story about your business, like you've got a great review or a testimonial, keep it super short, or unless you really want to invest in that story and produce like a mini documentary. And that doesn't have to be expensive. It doesn't have to be way involved. You just have to have a story that keeps people's attention for all the 5 minutes you're gonna show them that video or whatever it is. But if you've got a lesson or a tutorial or a presentation you want to do, don't be afraid to use that longer video. Remember, it's just got to be engaging the whole time. And so that was a wild stat to learn that even though attention spans are getting shorter, the engagement's not dropping just because we're going forward in time. It's sticking there. So that's more stability and more evidence that video, no matter how long it is, as long as it's engaging, is going to keep people's attention. And I'd love to know, you employ a couple of these because you've got your TikTok videos that are obviously pretty short, but then you also have full YouTube episodes that you do.
I have a few thoughts on this. The first one is right along with what you said. If you are stretching things out to try to fit a certain amount of time, or if you're trying to shorten things down to fit an amount of time, I think that's ridiculous. I think you should fit the amount of, or the length of the video to what you have to say. If it's something funny or whatever, it could be 7 seconds and it could do great. If it's something that is very informational in its nature or educational, whatever, that might take 10 minutes to explain something. But you see movies that are 7 hours and you see movies that are 1 hour. I mean, I think it's the quality of what you are saying. All of them do good. And same with reading, the same with pictures, or I guess pictures wouldn't really fit in that, but the same with reading. I mean, look at the Harry Potter books that were some of the most popular books ever. The Bible is the #1 book sold in the world. It's very large, and there's also people read little clips on social media all day long. So I think what you have to say is the most important. And the second thing to that is, where are you putting it? If you are putting something in TikTok that is, this is my 7-part video, because it only allows you to post a certain amount of video. This is my 7-part series of, the time that I found this blah, blah, blah growing up, or, and it is something very serious in nature. It's very long in nature. And you're putting that on TikTok that is typically the best content is short, bite-sized chunks of either information or something funny or something trending or whatever. That is not going to fly with that platform. If you put that same video on YouTube, it might explode. If you put that same video on Facebook, it might explode. If you put it on Instagram, it might not. So I think the platform, people don't think about the platform a lot. I don't put the funny little stupid dancing, trending, all that stuff that we do for TikTok videos. We don't put those on YouTube. I mean, it might do okay on YouTube Shorts or something. I don't know, but we put our longer informational, 10 to 15 minute videos on YouTube, and they do well. So, I think the second thing is the platform. So I don't know. I had a third point, and I can't remember what it was now. But those are the two, I think, biggest things to that is stick to what you know, and also stick to what you're good at. If you're good at information and all that, then don't try to do the short little like funny clips and stuff like that. If you're just really smart and you have a lot of information pent up inside of you.
I think the order you gave them is perfect. First and priority is, what do you know? What are you good at? Or what kind of content do you know you can create or know your audience wants? And then second to that would be, now what platform fits that, or what platform is best, for the knowledge and expertise that I have, or the entertainment that I have.
Well, you could go the other way too. I mean, we went the opposite way. We said, I want to be on TikTok. It seems like it's exploding right now. What would go good on TikTok? And that fits around our business, and we both walked through that together. It's like, well, we could do, trending sounds, and we could get somebody to film it and blah, blah, blah,
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think you could go backwards too if you want to create for a platform.
Totally. And I think that's like anything in marketing. There's like an easy way to do it, and then there's a complicated or longer way to do it, and both of them can work, and neither of them are right or wrong. But if you feel overwhelmed by getting into video, then focus first on what you know, because that's where you're comfortable, that's where you're an expert. If you've already done video and it's not really working for you, and you're trying and you're trying and you're trying, maybe you need to go backwards and say, I need to try a new platform. What is good on that platform? And I'm going to create for that platform out of my expertise, but my main priority is I'm trying a new platform. I think that's totally acceptable and will work for you. I think in the end, this report really shows us that our competitors are planning on using even more video this year than they did last year, and that's across all industries and all business models. So video is really the way that people expect to learn and build trust in your business and your brand. And so you need to make a plan to create and deliver that content that your potential customers are looking for. What do you think, Steve?
Yeah, I think concluding thoughts are definitely, the way I started, that video is the king. Whether it's television or whatever we find in the future, whether it's a new social media app that shows us video or whatever, if you are a business that is interested in growing your business through marketing, you should find a way, if you want to grow your business, you should find a way to provide some sort of video content and something that people would enjoy watching. If it goes all over you to make a video that you are in, if you're not good on video, if you cannot master it, you have no interest in mastering it, whatever. Again, I think that people can practice it and get better at it over and over. However, if you have no interest in being on it, there are other ways too. I think you can hire a quote unquote mascot. You could hire one of your employees to be on video for you, to only create videos for you, or whatever that might be. I think there are creative ways to produce video for your business that doesn't have to be the owner involved. But I do think that if you are a business that wants to grow, you should find a way to produce videos. It is a deeper relationship with people. Those are things that go viral. You hardly ever see, even if it's a funny 5-second video, you hardly ever see radio clips or newspaper articles that go viral or blog posts that go viral. They do happen, but you see funny videos and things like that go viral way more than anything else. It is a much more intimate experience. So I'm glad that you found this article with all of these statistics. I do think that video is incredibly important in your marketing, and if you aren't producing video, I think it's something that perhaps you're missing out on if you are interested in growing your business. And if you're listening to this podcast, you're probably interested in that. So those are my final thoughts. Anything else from you?
I think that's it. Video is king, and so use the channel because it's blowing up.
Cool. Thank you for listening to this episode of the podcast with me and Mr. Christopher Fox from Fox Strategy. If you have a question about video and a question about marketing, you can find his information in the show notes, and he will help you out. He might even make a video for you. I don't know. I don't know if he's for hire for a mascot or not, but we'll see on the next episode. Maybe he'll let you know.
There you go.
Thank you for listening to this episode.